Yo, what's up, y'all? This is AG coming to y'all live for the More Than Beats podcast, sponsored by Maschine Masters. I got my co-host in here, my homie Billy Blast. Say what's up to the people, B.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Billy Blast, and here with the More Than Beats podcast, my man AG Got Beats back at you again. What's going on, brother?
Ain't nothing, man. Chilling, man. We're gonna go right into it. What's your favorite BPM, man? And the reason why I say that, because I know BPMs kind of dictate what type of beats you make. So what's your normal BPM, and how does it, how do you incorporate that into your beats?
Well, like my normal, I have like my joint is set up, you know what I'm saying? Like the template starts at 163 because I like to do everything in like double time, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I don't know. It always actually depends on like if I'm using the sample, but I usually start at 163 and then work my way around, which 163 is like the 80 plus BPM. I like to use that to start off with, and then I never know, it could end up somewhere else because you start changing the pitch and all of that, you know what I'm saying? So then my joints always vary a lot, but I usually start at like 163 at default, and then I just start working around the BPMs that way.
Okay, all right. So I know you said 160. That's double time. Like, just to elaborate a little bit on that. What are your thoughts on double time? Like, how does that affect your beats versus just the regular, BPM at 80?
Cause for me, like I like to do it in double time because the turnaround is faster. Okay. So as opposed to it being like tick, 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 tick. You know what I mean? It's like tick, 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 tick. For me, it feels like it moves faster. You know what I'm saying? So then I can get my ideas out quicker as opposed to waiting for that slow BPM to turn around. I like to use the double time because it just moves faster for me and it feels better. You know what I'm saying? The track moves better for me.
So is it more of a metronome thing? Like, you just like the count to be faster? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So it kind of gets you into a groove, huh?
Yeah, and the bars turn around quicker. You know what I'm saying? Because with double time, 8 bars in like regular time would be 8, but in double time is 4 bars. You know what I'm saying? Right. It just moves faster for me. I like the way the bounce feels at double time.
All right, so basically, you said you like to rock with 80 to 83.
Yeah, like anywhere between 80 and 90, and that's when I'm on like, if that's like the boom bap type of thing, right? You know what I'm saying? I jump on that. Anything slower than that, of course, obviously, like I said, it would be double time. You know what I'm saying? So if it's like 70, I would do it in 140. 70, 74, that's like right around that trap area. You know what I'm saying? So I would use that, even if the sample was like a soul sample, and I would go to like 140, you know what I'm saying, to 148, 150 possibly, you know what I'm saying? That's because of the way that I want to format the drums to the sample, or whatever it is I might be using at that time. Okay,
yeah, I'm the same way, man. I like, it seems like between 85 and 88, that's like my natural BPM. Right. And it's like within that range right there, I make like more like smooth type of beats, hip hop beats. And I like that, man. I say if you start getting up to the 120s, 130, 135 for me, like that's that trap area. And I like the bounce on them joints too. Like you could get a nice little, I guess, R&B type trappist vibe for me. But yeah, anything like over 90, 93, I kind of dabble into that, but mainly that's like that up tempo boom bap type style to me.
For me, up there, like if you start getting into the 90s and the 120s and all of that, that's when I like to start doing like the I guess the quote unquote like clubhouse type of joint. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So you into the house too?
Yeah. I mean, Jersey, man. You know what I'm saying? That's by default, man. I could get kind of busy on it. I really don't exercise it a lot as much as I should, but yeah, I could get kind of busy on the club joints, man. That's just Jersey though. That's just in my blood, man. Yeah. So do that with my eyes closed.
And to go into that a little bit further, you also was in DC. So do you got any like go in you, bro?
I don't know how to play like go-go per se, like the percussion and all of that, but I've sampled a lot of go-go stuff. Like I got a lot of peoples in DC that are percussionists, you know what I'm saying? So I have them send me some stuff sometimes and I just sample it and I just use it that way. Like I did a joint they had a movement in DC called Don't Stop the Go-Go, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Don't Stop the Music. So I did like a joint, I sampled like I can't remember what the name of the group is right now, but the Don't Keep Stopping, Don't
Keep Stop.
Yeah,
stop
I sampled that
yeah.
joint. I sampled the vocals from that and chopped up some go-go percussion and then added some drums on that and then put the sample in there, and it had that go-go feel to it.
Yeah. Oh, that sounded like it would have been dope. I forget the producer who was doing that back in the day with Ableton Re. He had like the go-go percussion going on, but with the R&B samples and stuff.
Rich Harris.
Yeah.
I think it's Rich Harris, if I'm not mistaken. It's Rich Harris.
Yeah, I think that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a dope vibe with that joint too, man. So let's go ahead and get into the next topic. Also, the guys out there that's listening, guys and females, drop a comment. Let us know what's your favorite BPM. What's the most natural for you, and what type of beats you make then. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the next one, man. All right, let's go. We're gonna go with beats while inspired. So basically, we just want to know what type of beats that you make, when you inspired. And inspiration could come from anywhere.
Yeah,
so like,
definitely.
It doesn't have to be music per se. It could be, you taking a walk through a trail, like nature or a movie or whatever. But what inspires you to make the beats, and then what type of beats do you make? Go ahead and start that off, D.
Well, like you said, just to connect with what you said, man, inspiration comes from anywhere. You know what I'm saying? And the dope thing about today, the time that we live in today, is that we have all of this technology and cell phones. So you could be in the grocery store and hear something playing, over the speakers in the grocery store, and you could just take your phone out and record it, and then later go find out what it was because you felt inspired by that, buying some eggs or something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Word. So, it comes from anywhere. Like I have the Shure 88 mic, and I carry that with me everywhere just in case.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I hear something and I'm like, oh wow, that's dope. You know what I mean? Or anything. It could be just, like folly. Like I could just be on the highway driving and I'll just stick my phone out the window and just record the cars going by.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you, just to go a little bit further into that, like as far as the folly recordings and stuff like that, have you ever came home and made a beat from, off the folly?
Yeah. At least
and folly, for those that don't, I didn't mean to cut you off, but folly, for those that don't know, I believe that's like field recordings, right?
Yeah, field recordings, and like just different type of recordings of not actual like drum sounds and stuff, but stuff that you can create out of drum sounds. Like if you hit a can outside, you know what I'm saying? That's like folly. Then you could turn that into like a drum sound or a snare, something like that.
Okay. All right.
I like to have my mic plugged up. You know what I'm saying? I keep my mic with me, so just in case if I hear anything, because like you said, inspiration comes from anywhere. You know what I'm saying? I record like on Tuesdays. You know what I'm saying? The landscapers be out on my property on Tuesdays, so I go outside and just like record them mowing the lawn and cutting the bushes and all of that stuff. And you can use all of that stuff too.
And the funny thing is, man, just to go a little bit further with that, it's like everything has a rhythm. So like you said, just going off of the landscapers and stuff like that, if you really listen to it, it's probably like a rhythm, an underlying rhythm going on with that. And have you ever used any of that to make a beat? I kind of want to go back to that.
Yeah, I use some of the stuff, and I like to use it for layers. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Like, it could be like, for instance, July 4th, you know what I mean? I have some snares, and July 4th I was recording fireworks. So I'll take some of the fireworks sounds and layer them under the snares. You know what I'm saying? To make the snares pop a little bit more. Or, like the big booms, I take that and filter out the highs and just keep the lows and layer them under kicks. You know what I'm saying? Just to give it the bottom and all of that. And again, it's like music is the soundtrack to our lives. You know what I'm saying? So whatever it is, whatever you hear, everything is usable. You can use water. You know what I'm saying? And that could be a sound that you can use as like like a layer in your music as a consistent. And it's not, a lot of times it's not something that you hear, it's more something that you feel. Like if you take it out, then you feel like that something is missing now. You know what I'm saying? Right. And that's where the field recording stuff comes into play.
And the funny thing, you say that because a lot of times when I'm making beats, a lot of times it's not even the sample that drives me. It's like one sound. You know what I'm saying, that I hear. And it's just like, I don't know if it triggers something like that's in your mental from back in the day or whatever. And, you know, like I'll just go off that one sound and just try to build around that. So, I mean, as far as, you know, just finding those sounds, those inspiring sounds, like I like that. The other thing, as far as, you know, making beats while you inspired, it's just regular day-to-day life, man. You know, like shit, you could be driving around in your car, you know what I'm saying? And you'll see something that'll make you, you know, think of some type of music or some type of beat. The one thing that I do realize is that the beats that I'm inspired by, or when I go back to sit down and make them because I was inspired, they never turn out the way that I thought they was gonna turn out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's very difficult for me to stay on task when I'm trying to make a beat like that I have in my head. I've probably never done that before.
And that's the same thing with me too. Like I have like a catalog of just stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, like I could hear something at 10:30 in the morning and sample it, you know what I'm saying? But then when I get to my equipment at 2:30 in the afternoon, you know what I mean? It doesn't quite transfer the way that it did in my head a couple of hours earlier. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So then what happens is I have a whole bunch of stuff. But the thing that's good about that is, you know what I'm saying? Like 2 days later, you could find some inspiration from somewhere, or just sit down and make some beats. You know what I'm saying? And then while you create, and you're like, oh snap, let me go to that sound. I remember that joint. Let me use that sound that I had the other day.
Right. No, and that's the same thing for me. And then I want to kind of tie that into our last and final topic, is because when you sit down to make something, it always turns out to be something different than, you know, when you first sat down.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, how do you come off when you making beats under the influence? Like that's the next topic I want to go into. Like when you're making a beat under the influence, does it turn out the way that you planned it in your head?
Most of the time, it starts that way.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of joints that I've done like under the influence will probably never see the light of day. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
Like, you know, because you know, you be like tricked, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, you be tricked, like you hear shit that's not there. You know what I'm saying? So there's been plenty of times where I've started making beats, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, all right, here we go. But then, you know what I'm saying? That influence start kicking in, and then you just go off on a totally different tangent.
Right.
You know what I mean? I done found myself rapping at times. And then listen back the next day like, yo, man, what the hell was you about?
Yeah.
It started out cool, but it didn't end that way.
Right, you was getting your mumble rap on?
Yeah, man.
No disrespect to the mumble rappers. I fuck with y'all
do your
too.
thing, because I'm gonna tell you one thing. I'm an excellent mumble rapper. You leave me to mumble rap, and I'm the Jay-Z of mumble rapping. You ain't gonna understand shit I'm saying, but
I think that, you know, as a producer, you have to have that, because, you know, a lot of times producers make beats, but they don't give room for the artists, you know, to actually get on. The beats be fire, but the artist can't do anything with it. So I think, you know, just being a mumble rapper within yourself is, you know, is beneficial for the actual artist too.
And that's what I like to do. Like a lot of times, you know, like when I'm creating, you know what I'm saying, and I got a beat or whatever, you know, sometimes it might be too crowded, because we have to always remember, you know what I'm saying, as producers, you know, our intent is to obviously have an artist at some point on.
Right. It should be, I would think, but
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You know.
So you always have to remember, you know what I'm saying, that you always have to remember that the artist is also an instrument. So you have to leave room, you know what I'm saying? Breathing room for the artist to get on there, and also headroom. So when you do your mixes and all of that, you know what I'm saying, everything sounds good. So if your beat is too crowded, you know what I'm saying? That's why like some artists are like, yo, I can't rap on that. You know what I mean? Like, yo, take this out and take that out and take that out, because there's no room for their vocals. So you got to always remember, even your voice, you can record your own voice and use that as an instrument, or use that as a sample in a beat. But definitely under the influence, I rap more, because I kind of hear an artist. So like when I'm making beats or whatever, you know what I'm saying, I'm saying raps as I'm going.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And then that kind of sends me in a certain direction, because I can start, like there's been plenty of times where I've been like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna start this trap beat. so to speak. You know what I'm saying? This trap beat, you know what I mean? And lo and behold, like, you know, like we were saying, like being under the influence in certain situations, that trap beat might end up being something totally different 2 hours later.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So under the influence sometimes is a little intriguing because it's fun. And then you kind of do things that you wouldn't do in your regular state of mind. You know what I'm saying? You're more adventurous, you know what I'm saying, in production, so to speak. But a lot of joints that I've done under the influence probably will never see the light of day, man.
Yeah, I feel you, and I think I'm the same way. I do get a little bit more loose with the production, you know what I'm saying? I experiment a lot more.
Yeah.
But my issue is, man, when I'm under the influence is the initial process. Like, I lose it when it starts getting technical. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, under the influence, I'm just trying to chill and you know what I'm saying, and just get my ideas out. But when you got to go through and figure out how to, you know, warp this or do that, you know, and get all technical within your software or with, you know, within your sampler, that's the part where I lose, you know, the focus. So I'm getting caught up into the technical aspect, and when it's time to make the beat, I done forgot what I was trying to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then that just takes on the experimental stage, and then, like you said, that's in the vault forever. It's never coming out.
I go back and listen to it a day or two later. Like, what? Like, there's so many joints that I've deleted. Like, oh no.
Right. Oh shit, I'm the delete king for real.
Oh, like
you,
what the
you can crown me right now. Yo, I know, you know, people used to say, you know, don't ever delete anything, save all your projects, because you never know, you know, what it could turn out to be. But yeah, I was the complete opposite. I was deleting everything, never saved nothing.
Yeah. Now, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't delete a lot of stuff because, you know what I mean. It might have started out one way, you know what I'm saying, but didn't end that way. But then later on, you know, you could go back when you in a sober state of mind, so to speak, you know what I'm saying, to be like, oh, all right, well, you know what? I could use this drum pattern.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For something else. But all of this other keys and all of this stuff that I was playing, I don't know what the hell that was. You got to get that out of here. Then I might just keep a drum pattern or keep the way that, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I wasn't paying attention to the way that I was doing the chops or something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They actually came out dope. So I might keep those and get rid of everything else. You know what I'm saying? And use some stuff. But I would possibly say 3 out of 5 is getting deleted. So
let's just piggyback off of that, man. So within your process of going back and listening to old things, old music, do you ever, like, when you get beat block or whatever, like, is this a form to get out of beat block? Do you go back and check out your old recordings and see if you could, you know, fine tune some things, change the drums or whatever? Or is that just, you know, you do that every once in a while?
Nah, that definitely works for beat block. That definitely works for beat block, because, you know, when you're sitting down and you're trying to create something, you got so many other things going through your mind as well that it kind of pushes the creative aspect out the way. So then you start forcing it. But what's a good thing to do is like, I have beats from 2016 I'll go back and listen to. You know what I'm saying? If I can't come up with something, and again, I'll be like, oh, all right, yo, this was all right. You know what I'm saying? It sounds corny right now, but you know what? Again, I could use these drums, this drum pattern. You know what I'm saying? And then take whatever else is out and just use that drum pattern, and then that will spark some type of inspiration to be creative, and then I will go on to there and then resurrect something from 2 or 3 years ago and bring it back. Or even, you know, a joint that I thought wasn't dope 2 or 3 years ago, you could come back and, you know what I'm saying, fine tune it up, tweak it up a little bit and be like, oh, I bet I could use this. But it also pushes you to be creative when you do have them situations of beat block. You know what I'm saying? So I like to go back and listen to old stuff, because that'll just spark some type of inspiration just to get past the beat block. Because, man, yo, beat block is a producer disease, man.
Yeah, and I fight that a lot, man, because I'm a type of producer that I don't ever really try to force anything. So once I sit down, and if it's not just coming out, it's not, you know, going the way that I want it to go, I'll cut the shit off, and I might not come back to it for like months. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I definitely got to figure out ways to fight this beat block, man, and you know, just start forcing myself a little bit more to find ways to get out of it. I know I do go back and listen to my old music every once in a while, but never with the intentions on doing it over, just kind of listening to see where I was at that point in time in my life. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I'll just try to feed off of that, or see if I'm in a totally different space. You know, sometimes you could be like, you know, damn, I was on this type of wave back then, but I don't ever want to make any beats like that no more. Let me try something totally different, and then I'll just start on a whole new tangent. You know what I'm saying? And I guess if I even look back, it's like every year, every other year, it's just different type of beats. You know what I'm saying?
Vibes, so, all the vibes.
Yeah. So I just can't, you know, like I need to figure out how to work through beat block. You know what I'm saying? So I can keep that vibe going and probably just developing a sound. You know what I'm saying?
And today with beat block too, you know, like if you have beat block today, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not the best piano player at all. You know what I'm saying? But now with all of these plugins and VSTs and all of this stuff use, you know what I'm saying? Like I'll sit down and try to, you know, play some chords out and then match chords up. And, you know, like we got software today where you play the chords, it tells you what you're playing. You know what I'm saying? And then it can, you know, it'll suggest the next best chord that goes with that. So that's also another way to get past beat block. You know what I mean? You can just sit down and start playing the keyboard with some of these softwares, and next thing you know, you're like, oh snap, this works with this, and all right, I played this, then they said this one is good, so I'll drag this down and play those together, and it's like, oh snap, the next thing you know, you done came up with a dope composition, and before you realize it, your beat block is over and you got a beat. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I have done that, you know, because even sometimes you would create your own samples, you know, and then I would end up, if that's not really what I wanted to create, I would end up, you know, maybe throwing a couple of effects on it and then chopping it up and making something off of that. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely ways to do it. My thing is I just have to be inspired first before I even try to fight through beat block, before I even sit down. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if there's a lot of producers out there, but if you are, drop a comment, you know, below and just let us know, like, how do you fight through your beat block? Do you have to be inspired to make beats? You know, what's your format? What's your process?
Yeah, because beat block is heavy, man. And there's a lot of times too that, you know what I'm saying? I might sit down and beat block and start something. And like you said, you know what I mean? Just to connect with what you said and start something, and the inspiration is just not there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not there. So then I'm like, forget it, man. I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'll find something.
How long does that typically take you to get through, like, as far as the inspiration, you know, process goes?
It varies, man. It depends. You know what I'm saying? Because something as simple as opening up the patio door and letting the air breeze through might change the, you know what I mean, might change the energy. But like I could be inspired on Monday and go down and sit and do something, and then lose the inspiration, and it'd be 2 or 3 days and shit till I turn my joint back on again. Like, all right, let's see what's going on today. You know what I'm saying?
Now, you know, I have to ask this question. You know, being that you said open up your patio door, you out there in, you know, Southern California, you know, the weather is beautiful and things like that. I know you hit the beach up, you know, quite often. When you go out to the beach, does that inspire you to make music, and what type of music does that make, you know, help you make?
See, now with that, it depends, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times I go to the beach to find inspiration, not even to make beats, you know what I'm saying? It's just to find the serenity to be able to clear my thoughts and all of that, to find a place to be inspired.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times if I go to the beach and I make a beat, there's no set thing. It's just whatever the feeling is as I'm looking at the water or whatever, just sitting out there, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the feeling may be, I just go with it. Now, those are the good times where I find like a place of serenity, you know what I'm saying? Gotcha. And then I just let my thoughts go, and whatever comes, it just comes, you know what I'm saying? That's where I like to let it flow, because that it helps a lot being at the beach, you know what I'm saying? And even if you're not at the beach, like, just go outside. If you have the equipment to take outside, just go outside. If it's in your backyard, if it's on your patio, if it's in the park down the block, you know what I'm saying? You'll be surprised, man. You'll be surprised what type of inspiration you find just being outside in the free world without having to, you know, not being in the confinements of your crib. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So a lot of times I like to go out there to find serenity, and then, you know what I mean? If there's room for inspiration for beats, then I definitely get to it.
That's a good point, man. For those people who are wondering, they are tied to a computer trying to figure out how can they get outside and do a little bit more. What type of equipment do you use?
I use a MPC Live.
Okay.
And the reason why is because, I'm always on the go, you know what I'm saying? So I need something that I can have with me on the go. And it doesn't tie me down to a computer. The computer is my option to use if I want to.
Right. Yeah, the MPC Live is dope. I'm sure a lot of people, know about it, but it's portable. What type of how many gigs do you have on your hard drive?
I have a internal joint. I got 2 terabytes.
Wow. So yeah, that lets you know like how much storage, how many samples do you have on there? I chop Lord Master.
Yeah, man. I'll just say like this. We can just, for a low number, I have way more than 100 gigs worth of samples.
That's crazy.
Way more than 100 gigs worth of samples. And like, I have samples that are chopped, because I might just sit for a day and just chop samples all day long.
Right.
Listen to records and chop samples all day long. And even with the process of like listening to records too. And if you sample from records, what I recommend you do is, if you have a phone, I know it might be tedious, but it works out for me better in the end. Like, I'll sample, like if I'm listening to an album and it's, side A, song number 3, I'd write everything down. You know what I'm saying? I'll label it. Like, I'll stop and take the time to label what the sample is and all of that. Because when you're going through a lot of records, you know what I mean? You don't want to just have sample 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then you got to try to figure out where that stuff came from. That gets annoying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely give you that, man. You are very organized when it comes to, I don't know anything else, but when it comes to your samples and things, like, yeah, like you've definitely made me lazy. When I'm looking for samples, what I'm saying?
My joint is well organized, man.
Yeah, I'll just hit you up like, yo, B, what's, send me some samples, send me this, some R&B joints, some 90s, send me some, 70s soul or whatever. And like, within minutes, check your download. Yeah, check your email.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
saying? Because I like to keep it all in order. Like, I have by genre, you know what I'm saying? Like, some folders that I might just have samples that I had sitting around, and I just have them in a folder that just says MP3s. You know what I'm saying? But then I have folders that say like soul, reggae, rock, progressive rock, psychedelic rock, Latin, Brazilian music. You know what I mean? I have a folder that just has question marks on it because of albums that I have sampled from. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't read the language.
Right. So, just go, a quick plug, man. Go ahead and plug the people. Let them know, about your custom crate digging service.
Yeah, I have a custom crate digging service. For those that are listening to this, you might not have access to get samples or go sample digging or crate digging, or you might not have time for it. You know what I'm saying? This is a convenient service that I have. It's custom crate digging. I cater to whatever it is, the genre or sound or feel of a sample that you're looking for, and I have a lot of happy clients that are constantly returning because of the fact that sometimes you might not have the time to sample, but you might have a project that you're working on, or you might not have the time to go and dig through records. So you can hit me up at customcratedigging@gmail.com, and you say, yo, listen, I'm looking for 70 soul samples, you know what I'm saying? And you have the option to get the samples chopped, or you have the option to get the samples in the whole format, and you can chop them yourself. But it's a very convenient service, and a lot of people definitely are comeback or return customers because it's convenient. So again, that's customcratedigging@gmail.com. You can just hit me up, you know what I mean, and then we can get into the details from there.
Yeah, and I vouch for it. I've used it several times, and I've been a happy client as well. So yeah, y'all check that out. Also, I know he mentioned the MPC Live. Make sure y'all check that live course out on machinemasters.com. Visit the site. You get your sample packs. You get all kind of things there. You get your tutorials, your courses. And then you also get the sample pack Saturday, brought to you by the man himself, Billy Blast. So yeah, this is going to conclude this week's More Than Beats podcast, brought to you by Maschine Masters, with your host AG Got Beats, and then my co-host, my man Billy Blast. So we're going to see y'all, every week coming up. And drop your comments. Please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Help us grow it. And we'll be bringing you more content every week. Like I said, follow us on our social media platforms at AG Got Beats everywhere. Billy Blast
at Billy Blast everywhere, and also at Maschine Masters.
Yep. So we'll holler at y'all, man. To the next one. Peace.
All right, peace.